Welcome back to Soulpreneur Scaling Stories. Today I have a story that I want to share with you about Instagram and about the time, like a week ago, not too long ago, where Instagram and I were in a fight. I have been feeling so dejected on this platform. It has felt so heavy for me that I essentially basically stopped showing up. It was laborious to create content. I didn't feel inspired. And a lot of this had to do with the fact that there was a negative feedback loop. So I'm sure a lot of us have gone through this kind of roller coaster up and down of these social media platforms where, you're posting, you get great engagement, you feel encouraged to continue on. And then you hit this period where it feels like nobody's listening to you and you're screaming into the void, right? So I'm sure we've all had this. So this is how I have been feeling. So I let this negative feedback loop influence me. And I started to feel so uninspired that, again, I essentially stopped posting. And so let me tell you something that I was reminded of that is so important that I really feel that everybody can benefit from this. So instead of being inspired by the results, I needed to reframe this. And this is what I was reminded of. We all know that the metrics are just vanity metrics, right? We know this. But how do we overcome this when the vanity metrics are not in our favor? This is the reframe that we have to do. And let me tell you what it is, obviously. So I was reminded this week that the algorithm is not the important thing. The important thing is that I have a mission. I have something that is so important to me that I feel so deeply about. And this is about helping service providers grow and create businesses, not just that are making them money, but in a way where they feel super inspired themselves, where they're doing something that they love, where they get to share their magic with the world, where they get to make a difference and go deeper. This is the thing that I love, right? This is my mission, is to help other people in this way. And when I am not showing up on social media, I'm not sharing my mission. And this is terrible, right? This is not a thing that we need to do. So I needed to reframe what I was doing, come back, step away from it a second, right? So step away from Instagram for a second, take the space to just kind of unplug and really come back and center myself, come back to the core of why I am doing this. And this is what I want to kind of get into with you guys today, is to really talk a bit more about your mission. So I invite you to really take a step back and think about, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why did I start my business in the first place? And two, how has it evolved from this point? Why are you doing it now? Because I know that it's just not for the money. I know this because you're listening to this and you are my people and you're not just doing this to make a quick buck. There are much easier ways to make money than to have your own business. This we all know, right? We're not here for the money. We are here for a reason. And I invite you to look at your mission from both a business standpoint and a personal standpoint. So your personal mission is really what your goals are, what your values are, and what your aspirations are. And this is in combination with your vision, right? Which is really how you see yourself, what you want to be doing, what's your dream life, what's your dream business, all of that. And I get deeper into that when I work with my clients. So these two things in combination can help guide you better, both professionally and personally. And if you are guided by your mission, then nothing can stop you. You don't feel that you are screaming into the void, for instance. The numbers don't matter because you know that the more you talk about what you're doing, the more people you are going to help. And this is the thing that should drive you. Not the feedback loop that you get from being on social media, not the numbers, right? Not these just straight up numbers. It is really the fact that when you truly have a mission that you believe in your heart and you embody this, you don't care if you reach one person or 10,000 people. You just want to change somebody's life, right? You don't feel like you're screaming into the void. You feel like you're sharing because it is your mission. This is your soul's purpose. So let's dive deeper a little bit into some questions that you can ask yourself in order to really create this mission and figure out exactly what your mission is. So we start from a place of your values. Do you know what your values are? Like, for instance, do you value, like, a number one for me, a number one value is freedom. And this is a thing that drives most of my decisions, right? So if I know this is my value, then I am not going to make choices that go against this value, because it's not going to be leading me down a path of somewhere where I need to be going. So what are your top values? For me, it's really helping people and making a difference and freedom. Do you know what yours are? And then alongside that, what are your goals that really support these values? What do you want to be doing, both inside and outside of work? What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to be? Where do you envision yourself? The next set of questions have to do with your aspirations. So what do you want to be known for? What do you want to do? What kind of impact do you want to have in the world? And I feel that a lot of people do not ask service providers these types of questions, because a lot of coaches or people in the business, they'll like ask coaches these things or people doing other things. But as a service provider, you are changing lives. You are really like the backbone of the businesses, of the people, and allow them to bring these programs forward that really do amazing things in the world. Without you being the support system, these things can't happen. And just because you are working as a service provider does not mean that you can't do also something else, right? It doesn't mean that you can't shift and be like, oh, like I want to create some sort of membership or coach or, or do something, right? Like go deeper. And this is like, again, what I help my clients do is to figure this out, right? So what kind of impact do you want to have? What is the thing that really like you want to be known for? What are your aspirations? And then alongside this, as we were talking about with your values, having, what do you believe in? What drives you? And with your mission, I really encourage you to go deeper. So not just like have a basic understanding of like, oh yeah, I want to do X, Y, Z, but like really dig into the core. Sit there, do a visualization, do a meditation, do some breathing exercises, get in touch with your intuition, pull some cards, do something to really dive deep and get to know yourself. And along these same lines, along knowing yourself, what's your ideal self? What kind of person do you want to show up as? Who do you need to be in order to achieve your mission? What qualities are you embodying? What do you want to embody? So when we consider all of this, when we consider your values, your goals, your aspirations, who you want to be, what your ideal self is, we can really put this all together into your mission and your vision. So when you have a good understanding of your goals, your values, your aspirations, then you can write a simple mission statement to reflect who you truly are in this world, what you want to bring into this world, what you want to be known for. And this is the thing that drives you. Again, you don't have to get into a fight with Instagram like I did. And I also think it's really valuable for you to hear that other people feel this way. So just because I'm out here, coaching and I have this beautiful, successful business, does not mean that I always am doing things, at this A+ level. And trust me, I've talked to a number of people and everybody goes through these types of valleys. There's all these things always kind of go up and down. So whenever you are feeling heavy, whenever something feels like, I don't know, what am I going to do? I don't want to do that. Bring it back to your vision, bring it back to your mission, bring it back to your dream life vision, bring it back to your impact, what you want to do in this world. This intertwines with everything. And the best part about this is that it lets you show up inspired. It lets you show up differently. You don't have to show up just because, I have to show up, right? It doesn't feel like that anymore. You show up sharing authentically and not because somebody gave you, some generic content pillars. You show up as you. You show up authentically. You show up with your mission in mind, and it affects all of this. You get to create from an inspired place. You get to have your mission and your vision be at the forefront of everything you do and spread your message because you know that your mission is that important. And the vanity metrics truly don't matter. Even if 10 people see it, that's 10 people who didn't see it before. That's 10 people who you could have this beautiful effect on. That's 10 people that you could help. That's 10 people whose lives you could change. So again, when you have your mission at the core of what you do, you will show up no matter what and keep going. You won't let Instagram win. Right? You don't have to get into a fight with it anymore. You just get to show up and share. And this feels so much better. That's the other thing too, is that a lot of times when your business feels heavy, when you are doing things because you feel like, oh, this is the thing I'm supposed to do, there's a couple of ways that this could go, right? This could go like, maybe you shouldn't be doing that thing. Maybe we should show up in a different way. But independent on how you show up, you have to show up. Right? Like, this is non-negotiable. So doing it from an inspired place makes all the difference in the world. This is how you get clients. This is how you have a business that you love. This is how you show up independent of what's happening in your life because you are committed to your mission. So what do you have to do right now to recommit to your mission? If you have lost your way, if you're in a valley instead of a peak, what can you do right now to change this? And this might be journaling. Again, this might be visualizing. This might be going out in nature, taking a walk and just getting really grounded. This might be sitting and then pulling a card and seeing what comes up. There's so many things that you could do. I invite you to do something and not let anything else overtake your mission. The commitment to this. And it can be, by the way, it can be a bit of a road. It's not going to change overnight. But when you are committed to your mission and your vision, this changes everything. So I wanted to leave you with that. And also invite you to check out my scaling roadmap because this relates to this, because we do dive into your mission and your vision. If you're listening to this and saying, well, I'm not really feeling super connected to my business, maybe it is time to do a little pivot, do a little shift, and really start to dive in and explore, well, what could I be doing instead that feels more aligned with my unique magic, so I can be in flow, so I can be excited to show up, so I can actually want to share my mission with people. And my scaling roadmap is a free resource that gives service providers a number of options and helps you do the exploration in order to dive in and explore. Okay, yeah. You explore the exploration. Yes, you know where I was going with this. It helps you to dive in deep and really start to analyze and look at and get inspired and see, oh, maybe I can pivot to this thing. So I highly, highly recommend you to grab that. The link is in the show notes. And it's really a lovely, lovely exercise to do when you're thinking of doing something new or pivoting or growing or just diving deeper. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I just wanted to share that. It's a quick one, and I will see you guys next time.